long-term disability activity of daily living forms, and questions about prior litigation. The long-term disability carrier is going to be asking you lots of questions, and one question may surprise you. That's questions about whether you've been involved in a prior lawsuit or a lawsuit after you've filed your claim for long-term disability benefits. Why do they want to know that information? Well, if you've been involved in an automobile accident, the carrier is going to ask you questions like, what treatment have you gotten? What impact has this accident had on your ability to work? They'll get copies of your personal injury protection claim to see what you've said about your injuries and whether you're claiming lost wages as a result of that accident. If you've had a new accident or injury after you filed a long-term disability claim, they're going to be asking those same questions because they want to understand whether or not the condition that you were originally claiming as being the basis of your disability is still interfering with your ability to work. If you're a professional, such as a doctor or lawyer, the long-term disability carrier is also going to automatically check to see if you've been involved in any disciplinary actions that can impact your ability to practice. And what they're going to argue is that your disability isn't the cause of your lost wages. It's some disciplinary action or some personnel issues that you have with your employer. They're going to argue you're a disgruntled employee. You've made a decision to file disability benefits as a result of a professional dispute, and you really aren't disabled. You can be sure that the long-term disability carrier is going to talk to your employer. They'll ask for copies of your personnel file, and if you sign a release that lets them get that information, it's fair game. Of course, you have to be truthful about any lawsuits or disciplinary actions, but I also suggest that you revoke any release that lets the long-term disability carrier contact your employer or get your personnel file. You need to make sure that it's absolutely clear in your questions about your professional license or prior disciplinary actions that you make it clear that your disability isn't related to any of those lawsuits. Make sure that your medical records are consistent because the carrier loves to look for inconsistency. That also includes things you may have told your doctor about disputes with your employer. Also remember that disciplinary actions can be confidential. If you sign a release, you may be violating the confidentiality requirements of your employer, and you're giving the carrier more information than they're legally allowed to get. Lawsuits and disciplinary actions can be a minefield for a long-term disability applicant. Don't get caught in that minefield. Consult with an experienced long-term disability ERISA attorney.